name's DJ, and this is the 2007 University of Colorado Solar Decathlon entry. What makes this house solar powered is this 9 kilowatt array up on the roof. Little bit of interesting thing behind that is we've got a copper heat radiator that we can use to suck in heat in the winter and use it to heat the house, or use it to pull the heat out of the house in the summer when we're trying to cool. A couple of the other features besides being 100% solar powered is we've got these self-shading windows that let the light in the winter when we want it and keep it out in the summer when it's hot. Over there we've got a louver that does the same thing. What it does is it keeps the same thing, keeps the light out in the summer when you don't want it and lets it in the winter. The main architectural idea behind the house is the main body of it is made of an old recycled shipping container, which probably gone through the Panama Canal a couple 20 times, and we've picked it up and reused it. The idea is to keep all of the mechanical stuff like the heating pipes, the water, the sewer lines, everything in that container. So eventually if somebody wants to mass produce these things, they can do that container, put it on a truck and put it anywhere they want and set it down, and then build out these outside parts, which are made out of structural insulated panels, very efficient wall kind of construction, and keep the stuff inside the wall real simple to just the simple electrical outlets.
You talked a little bit. You talked about the copper underneath. Is it the copper underneath the solar panels?
Yeah, the copper is underneath the solar panels, and that goes in, and we've got 2 thermal storage tanks inside that we can alternatively heat and cool with, and we use that as like a preheat in the winter, or we can use it at night when it's night in the summer to pump that heat from the house out to the roof and expel it to the night sky.
That sounds fabulous. In the winter, we don't worry about the copper.
No, up there it's running like antifreeze in it, so we don't have to worry about it freezing up, and it should stay without freezing.
That's a wonderful thing. And the panels themselves, the solar panels themselves, is that amorphous or crystalline? Or?
It's a monocrystalline silicon panel. It's I think they're made by SunPower, and they're top of the line, about 17% efficient. We were limited in the competition to an 800 square foot footprint. So in order to do everything that we needed to do, power an electric car, run the dishwasher, run a shower, run the hot water for the shower, we needed to get as much up there in as small a space as possible. So we went ahead and...
So some of the biggest challenges, at least in my little world, is putting solar panels on the house. The house is already shingled, or you can replace the shingles with solar panels, but I don't know. Could you on this one?
The solar panels are the weatherproofing on the roof in this case right now. The frame for it is built so that the panels overlap downhill, and just with a bit of flashing on the edges, it makes the thing watertight.
That's amazing. It's watertight, and you've got a whole bunch of solar panels.
Yep, a whole bunch of solar panels.
And how many kilowatts or whatever?
It's a 9 kilowatt array, which is pretty big for a typical house. But for what we needed charging an electric car on the mall that we had to drive around every day, it got us by.
And so tell me about the competition a little bit.
I wasn't at the competition myself, but it's the decathlon, so there's 10 events. Architecture competition, engineering competition. There was a specific lighting competition, which we did very well in. There was we had to cook meals and that sort of thing, and amazingly the meals had to match up with the architecture of the house, make everything come together. The idea is to make this, to take sustainability and bring it to the general public in something that is palatable to them, and something that you can walk into a house and say, hey, wow, this is really neat. It's 100% solar powered, but it doesn't look like I'm living in a spaceship.
Well, it's magnificent. Is the price tag eventually, you think, will be manageable, or what is it now?
With the one-of that we did with this, it cost us about $400,000 to do what you see here. We're predicting that if we were able to use economies of scale and build out these containers, it's not really easy to take a container and chop it down and put holes in it and this, that, and the other. But the idea is to have the full 2,100 square foot single-family home built on site for about $200,000 to about $250,000, depending on what you got for options and things.
I think that's just excellent, considering you don't have an electricity bill.
0 electricity bill, and
pays for itself.
Pays for itself, and in some instances, if you have this array, you'd probably be able to put a little bit back if you weren't running an electric car.
And so, how will our viewers know how to find details on what you've done here and maybe replicate it themselves? Or
there is a website. It's solar.colorado.edu, or you can Google the Solar Decathlon, and that should get you there too.
Marvelous. I love it. I want one too.
Yeah, I would live in one for sure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys.